Hey everybody, it's Andy with Countryside Aquatics. Just thought I'd do a quick fish room video here of my basement slash fish room. We'll start off here. This is a 40 breeder I just set up over the last couple days. I used to have a saltwater tank there, but got rid of it. Well, I still have some saltwater, but anyways, got rid of it and have switched it over to growing out plants and put fluval stratum in the bottom. That's why it's kind of cloudy. I just filled it, got stirred up some sediment and stuff, so it'll clear out. Got some plants in there. There's jungle val across the back and some crypts and swords and some bucephalandra growing out. And I think I'm going to put some blue-tailed godiads that I have over on the other side growing up in here. Try to spawn them. Over here we have a rack of 20 gallons, 20 longs. It'll actually hold 5, but right now I only got 3 on it. This first tank here has a colony of L333 plecos. I haven't gotten them to spawn. They're just about 2 years old, so hopefully in the next 6 months or so I can get them to spawn. I do have some cardinal tetras in there too as dither fish. Over here, this is an assorted tank. There's some Bosemani rainbows. You can see the big Gara rufa swimming there. I won him at a fish club raffle. And then I got a bunch of there's some random tetras, and there's some plecos that I bought with my local club. Did a import, and I got them as Ancestris Red, new species, and there's several different kinds in here. As you can see, there's one that's a striped. There's one on top of the heater. There's a couple on the side. There's some hiding in there. Down here we have my lone saltwater fish that I had left. It's a snowflake clown. I'm gonna see about getting, well, that would probably be a her now since she's big. I'm gonna see about getting a smaller one, and then I'm going to get some inverts and stuff. I'm not going to do corals anymore. I used to have corals, but I stopped doing those. And I'll just have my clownfish and some inverts in there. This is the other side of the basement for where I have my fish tanks. This first tank here, well, I've used it as a spawning tank. I have, right now, there's only 6 little Aspidoris spilotus in there. I had about a dozen, but I pulled the rest out and added them into it with the adults. These ones that I'm keeping out because I'll take them to my local club when we're able to resume meetings for to get BAP points for. Over here is my double 40 breeder rack, and then I have a rack that has 8 10-gallon tanks. And then some miscellaneous tanks up top, mainly 5.5s. This top 40 breeder is kind of a display tank. There's wild caught Leopoldi angels in here. Some Equus pencil fish, you'll see the school of them up top here. And I got a decent sized school of ember tetras in here. It's nice and planted. Got some swords. There's a Madagascar lace, several different kinds of crypts. There's a Java fern right here. All the little micro bubbles in there from, I just did a water change, and since the water coming in was cold, I have the micro bubbles. There's even a Vesuvius plant back there and a Crenum calamostratum growing here. I got a couple Siamese algae eaters in here too, because this tank, I used to have a bunch of blackbeard algae all over the wood and rocks and stuff, and so I got a couple big Siamese algae eaters and some Amano shrimp and put in there, and they have taken care of the blackbeard algae for the most part. There's still a little bit on the edges of a couple plants, but it's not bad. Oh, and there's some green neons too. I got some willow moss and the Nubius nana petite glued onto this wood here to hopefully grow. There's some bronze cories. Those are ones that I spawned myself up in my big display tank upstairs, which I'll show you another time. And there's a random cory. I don't remember what kind it is. Down here is another 40 breeder. This one has some random guppies, some swordtails and platies. My son is obsessed with live bears, so he's going to get a tank set up in his room with live bears, but until then, a lot of them have ended up in here. I also have, there's some green dragon plecos and what is supposed to be albino green dragons. There's one of the albino males hanging out right there. I also got a betta in here that I won at my local club's Christmas party. There was grab bags that had some random bettas in it, and I won one that had 2 different bettas in it. Now this tank here has some pure Redline Crystal Reds. This is only a 5.5 gallon tank, and as you can see, I got a mixture of fluval stratum and some regular aquarium gravel in there. But this tank has a lot of ram's horn snails in it, so I've set up a tank right next door that I put the fluval stratum in, and I got a sponge filter going. They're going to get transferred into here, but I still got to get this tank cycled. I just set it up yesterday, so got the Marina breeder box ready to do the acclimation when I do put them in there. This tank has a trio of Australia gold killifish. That's the male right there. And one of his females there. And the other one's hiding down here in the mop. I haven't tried pulling eggs yet from them, but eventually I will. And you can see my Elita air pump in the back. I just got my hooked up central air system here in the last couple weeks. I had been running like 4 different pumps, and it's running and you can't even hear it. This tank has some Gardner Achilles, and I didn't realize when I bought them at an auction last fall that it doesn't have a location or anything on the label, so I don't know what location they're from, but there's a pair of them in there. Coming down a level, this tank had my Bloody Mary shrimp in colony, but this tank got taken over really bad with blackbeard algae, and I've been trying to clear it up. And I also need to go through there and cull out some shrimp, because there's some that are pretty light colored, like that one right there, and some of these I need to cull out. And there's a couple random guppies that have made their way in there. The next tank here, this tank started off with no shrimp in it, and I have ended up with shrimp in it. And as you can see, there's all different kinds. There's some really types, and There's some reds and some blues. I think that they just climb up the airline and get out that way. There's also a pair of albino golden galaxy king cobra guppies in here that I'm hoping to get some fry from here pretty soon. This tank has some orange delta guppies. And also some, this is my Blue Dream colony. And you can see that they're checking out this new shrimp hotel that I got from a guy in my local club that does 3D printing. And he also made these shrimp cubes. This tank here has a group of 8 wild caught Whitesmonte Cories. I've gotten eggs from them, but I haven't been able to get them to hatch. So hopefully soon. I'm doing a simulated dry period where I'm letting water evaporate, not doing water changes for 3 or 4 weeks, and then I'll add in some fresh RO water that's kind of chilly, and hopefully that'll stimulate them. I've been feeding them some frozen brine shrimp, frozen bloodworms to try to get them filled up with some high protein foods. This tank here has the blue-tailed Gudeids that are going to go in that 40 breeder that I showed you earlier. There's also a couple different kinds of Cory cats that I had bought as little juveniles growing out. There's some pandas and some Melitania green golds that both of them were spawned by people in my local fish club, so I bought them when they brought them in for VAP, and growing them out so I can spawn them myself. This tank here, there's a crown tail betta in here, and I got a few plants, and this has my Aspidoris spilotus adults that I spawned them and have the babies that I showed you earlier. And there's also a lone longfin cherry barb. I had bought a group of those at the OCA extravaganza back last November with the hopes to spawn them, and I've ended up just having one female left, and so I put her in here. Hopefully I can get a hold of the guys that I got them from, and get some more here soon. This next tank, there's some neon tetras in there, and there is I have 2 L260 Queen Arabesque plecos in here that you can see the tail of one of them sticking out of the cave there. There's one that spends all the time in the cave there, and one that usually hangs out back by one of those heaters or the sponge filter, which I'm hoping that maybe I got a male and a female just by luck. But I've only got them back in November, so they still got some time to grow before I can worry about spawning them. This tank here has another betta. This one's like a rose white, and it's a Dumbo ear. When I first got it, this was another one that I won at my club's Christmas party. It was all white, like a pearl white, but now it's started to get like some rose there on its head and then its tail fin. Just kind of waiting to see how it grows out. It's kind of pretty. And I got some random plants in here just converting. And there's a bristlenose on the tag for the plant there, just hanging out. So I just thought I'd give a quick video of all the tanks that I have in my basement. Like I said, I do have one tank upstairs. It's a 93 cube display tank that one day I'll do a video of. But the until then, this is where most of my fish are, so I figured I would do a video of them. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure you leave some comments, subscribe, like it, do all that good stuff. Thanks.